Welcome back to the Filmmakers Blog. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Filmmakers Friday. In this episode, we're going to talk about shooting people, but more specifically, how that can help with your storytelling. I mean, if we're not talking about storytelling, this isn't the Filmmakers Blog. Squibs have changed the game when it comes to independent filmmaking, more specifically air squibs. There are two types of squibs, an explosive squib and an air squib. The explosive squib consists of three parts. It is the blood packet, the charge, and a protective plate, while the air squib is just composed of a blood packet or blood tube and compressed air. I've just recently got into using squibs on my films. I've only used it for my past two films, and to do that, I used a rig called the Tarantino rig from Squib FX. This is not an ad, I'm just letting you guys know what I use to pull off some of these shots. So why are squibs so great for independent filmmaking? Well, in the long run, it's cheaper. You don't need a pyrotechnics license, or you don't need to hire a person that has that license, so that saves you money. Secondly, you don't need to hire first responders just in case the charge that you place for an explosive squib goes awry, so that saves you money. You also don't need to replace the charge that you're using for every hit and every shot that you do, so that saves you money. You can even build your own air squib system for pretty cheap, like around $100 or less. I've seen some tutorials on YouTube. But what I find is really cool about these air squib systems is that they're reusable. And as long as you clean and maintain your rig, you can use it as many times as you want. So how can squibs improve your storytelling? Well, when it comes down to it, being extra flashy and over the top doesn't always mean you're gonna have a better film. I mean, just look at the Transformers series. I mean, I actually liked the first one, I really did. But after that, not really. Squibs create a shock factor, which can elicit an emotional reaction from your audience because it's shocking. Now, the best way I think we can match that to our story and storytelling is by highlighting major plot points or story beats by using squibs. That way, certain impacts in your story could have just that little extra punch and could possibly make your overall story and storytelling better. So now let's move on to important tips for your bloody hits. Now, it's all about blood mixture and pressure. Depending on different mixtures of blood, it will look differently, and depending on how much pressure you put into your air canister for your air-powered squib, it'll look different coming out of someone's body. So you need to test what looks you like and what you don't. I mean, a little bit of pressure will just have this little weak kind of trickle, and then a lot of pressure will maybe way over the top for what you're going for, maybe like a Tarantino, just, you know. I don't know if that's like getting anywhere. Tip number 2 would be to pre-cut a little slit in your character's clothing where they're getting shot. There is no way that an air squib is gonna go through someone's shirt. It's just gonna look soaked. It's gonna look more like a knife wound than a gunshot, and that's really not what you're going for. So when you pre-cut that slit, it allows blood to travel freely straight through your actor's clothing. For number 3, you can also use Velcro to help keep your blood tube or blood packet in place on your actor. That way it won't move and ruin the entire shot. Number 4, don't be doing this stuff in your mom's living room with her priceless rugs and antiques all over the place. This stuff sprays pretty far, like way farther than I thought. In like this video, you can see that we're across the room and the blood travels all the way across the room. I mean, that was a standard size garage. So this thing goes pretty far, and depending on your mixture, it can stain. My last tip coming in at number 5 is to have a dedicated crew for setting up squibs and just that special effects department in general. Doing this stuff takes a lot of time. Setting and resetting squibs after every take takes time. And if you don't have someone who's just purely dedicated to that part of the production, it's gonna really slow you down. The last thing we want is an unfinished film, and it would be terrible if a squib was the reason your film didn't get made. If you're sick and tired of having your productions run behind schedule and the stress that it creates, you need to check out my production schedule and shot list hybrid. I'm giving it out for free. It's a template. I made a video about it on how you can use this document to keep your productions on set, keep them organized and very, very efficient. If you want to check it out, go ahead and click the link that I posted in a comment. It should be a pinned comment. Click that link to watch the video and download the document. Thank you guys for watching the video and spending some time with me this week. I really appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to drop a like, if you like the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's video, and I will see you next Filmmakers Friday.
In the front row, kicking back old school tracks like damn.